right, welcome back, guys. Okay, so this is part 2. If you did not see part 1, you'll want to do that first. There's a free link in the description box. By the way, thanks for giving this a thumbs up. Thanks for subscribing. Let me know in the comments if you like the little dog setup. I just thought it would be fun. Also, heads up, watch for a community post that I will be making to give you guys a little bit of information. I'll probably also release it in a video clip as well, but we have some things to celebrate this month, and so I don't want you guys to miss out. All right, so as part 2, we are just jumping right in, okay? That free link for part 1 is in the description box. You can watch that and bounce back here. But if you've already seen part 1, you know right where we're at. So we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger because we have an amazing King of Wands that is not approaching a Queen of Swords because, frankly, she's been wounded and is pretty salty from a previous connection, and they've known better than to just approach her as much as they would like to. We picked this up with still no dice, still no communication going between these two. Not at this point in time. There's a reason. There's a reason for the delays. There's a reason to not communicate right now. I cannot fly toward her and expect her, oh wow, the Lovers. I cannot expect her to want to listen to a new romantic partner when what she thinks is love stings, love hurts. Oh gosh, that song by Nazareth also covered, well, I guess it was Roy Orbison first and then Nazareth, Love Hurts, Love Wounds, Love Mars. Obviously, we've got, normally this would be Gemini energy, but with the Scorpions there, I think of Scorpio. We have stingers, we have pain, but then we also have the potential for transformation and healing. But you know, that's off in the distance. What's in the foreground is what I know of love is that lovers don't always stay. So this is her perception right now. This is why she has zero interest in talking to anybody, because she's very focused still on the hurt and pain. What is going to help her? Because right now she's kind of in an energy where, although it's understandable that she would feel this way after, you know, a big heartbreak, it also kind of looks to me like she is more or less blocking an incredible King of Wands without even knowing it. So what is the message for this queen? I mean, obviously everybody has to, you know, heal at their own pace, but we've got Magician and Nine of Cups. Okay, so the most expedient way for her to get beyond her heartbreak, her pain, and get back to just feeling good. This isn't even about like how can she, you know, prepare to let some amazing new partner in, although she certainly deserves an amazing new partner. Him, her, remember, I don't read for genders. This could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, doesn't matter. But the best thing for her to do is perhaps get busy manifesting all the best for herself, manifest her sense of, you know, personal pride and personal happiness. Remember how beautiful she is. Remember how attractive she is. Remember all of the, and this is not about like physical attractiveness. I mean, that factors in also, but, you know, being happy in one's own life, not feeling as if, you know, somehow I got jilted, lovers don't stay, I can't trust people. If you notice, what we actually have is mixed up in all of the beautiful peacock feathers, we have this, you know, huge alignment of cups, but then they place the last two. So we got the 7, and then there's our 8 and our 9th up at the top, almost like, hey, listen, there's a 2 of cups floating around up there in the ether for her. She has to kind of reclaim her power a little bit. It just might be wise for her to do this for her own self regardless. Raccoons are pretty amazing creatures, and they have like a uniqueness to their hands that allow them to like go down trees front ways. Oh gosh, what is it? I think they're polydactyl is the term for it. I might be wrong. It might be tetradactyl, but it's a uniqueness about what raccoons can do and why they can go up and down. It's thanks to this mobility in their little paws that is unique to them. And so I'm just going to say, the only reason I'm nerding out right now and mentioning something like that is because I feel like she is way more flexible in her frame of mind and way more resilient than she's currently giving herself credit for. I think she could turn this sour energy around like that. She has unique talents. She has her own unique grace and beauty. And I think it would be really wise for her to focus on that as swiftly as possible, because it'll make her sting a lot less. It'll make her get out of that mindset that love stinks. Let's get a message just for that King of Wands. You know I'm partial to this King of Wands because in part 1 you saw that it's a blue healer that is that King of Wands. I'm taking this in the upright even though it was a bit tilted, just because it wasn't tilted enough for me to call it sideways. We have Knight of Swords. Oh, well, this is interesting because it says move swiftly. It says, especially with the moon and the stars overhead here, there's a celestial element to this. If they have something to say to her, although they decided it would be prudent to maybe wait because they don't want to approach her and then have her say no, it's not their job to heal her. We saw that in part 1 with the star in the reverse. Sorry, I'm tapping it, but you can't see me tap, can you? This says, yes, but how they feel about her is still their business. And if they want to say something to her, there's no need to wait. They don't have to kind of walk on eggshells or say, okay, should I approach her right now or will I get a hard pass? Will she just say no to me because maybe she's still upset with somebody else? They aren't the person from the past. And this amazing king is not someone who has to like suppress their own thoughts and get into the head of the queen and try to, figure out what she will and won't accept. All they have to be is real. And if they feel a certain way, there is no reason for them to hold back. And in fact, sometimes, even though we're trying to be polite and we're trying to, not approach somebody because we're worried that, oh, I think they're still wounded, they probably will say no to me. Maybe, surprisingly, that could be exactly what she needs to hear, is some, beautiful, amazing King of Wands speak something true. And this says, speak up when the spirit moves you, speak up when things feel aligned. We already saw that there is no blockage, but they were concerned that it wasn't going to be the right time. We saw that in part 1. And I just like the fact that this portion of the story says, well, they don't really need to worry too much about that because their truth is still their truth. And if they want to speak something beautiful, kind words, complimentary words to her, there is no reason that they cannot do that. King of Wands in the reverse and the Three of Cups sideways. So here they are all over again. But this kind of says that moving forward swiftly for them, they probably don't want to be insulted or put down either if she's like absolutely not having any, she's not into it, she's not going to give them a yes. But it's a little bit like the universe says, but now wait a second, King of Wands, then this is your ego in the way, because you want to give her a compliment, you want to tell her that you're interested in her, you care about this person for all the right reasons, but you're afraid to say it, really, because you don't want her to say no. You want the greatest likelihood of her saying yes. But in truth, there's no real reason for you to be too concerned about that. Even if everything was aligned just perfectly, you still may not be a perfect match with her. You don't know what you don't know. You two haven't had the opportunity to get to know each other yet in that context. So waiting to say something kind of hints that it's their own ego in the way that's making them worry about this. So maybe they don't need to worry. Maybe they can just go for it. This says you never know if the relationship would be a win until you're in it anyhow. So them holding back and trying to pre-think and overthink and, get in her head and think about what to do, what to say, when to try to approach her is possibly not worthwhile them overthinking it. And in fact, it just shows a little bit of their own fears, perhaps, which, this is really a story that is so relevant to like how each person has their own fear, each person has their own wounded energy, each character has their own hurdles, right? So what might be the outcome now? Let's see if we can simplify this. Oh boy. We have got the Four of Swords and we have the Ten of Swords. Well, healing from previous endings could be the outcome, could be, doesn't have to be, but we also have the acknowledgement of putting an end to hurt and pain or letting it continue. I do feel like this has just identified that each one of them has something to overcome. In truth, this King of Wands is afraid of being turned down. Meanwhile, she's still carrying a bitterness and a chip on her shoulder a little bit. But these two don't actually have to carry that around. And in fact, the two of them could help each other heal from this. That's only if they're going to choose to say yes to this. You know, he has to say, yes, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to her regardless, and I'm not going to worry as, you know, whether or not I get a yes from her. I'm going to do what's right for me, which is to tell somebody wonderful that I think that they're wonderful, that I'm interested in them. That might be them coming up out of this little hidey hole, right? Four of Swords is where we've been hiding away and kind of nursing our wounds instead of getting over them. The answer for them is maybe to go ahead and say what they need to say, and you know, that'll help them get over their fears. And for her, hiding away from everyone and insisting everybody is untrustworthy, lovers don't stay, telling herself that negative mantra is only going to strengthen the negativity. So really, it would behoove them both to perhaps get out of that rut. They're both in a similar but different rut, and they could really be an amazing match to help each other get out of this rut. Final message, then we'll give this one a rest. I actually really like this one. Gosh, things keep coming out sideways. Ace of Cups. The chance for amazing love is here. Hopefully, each character, because this can be a shared energy, hopefully each character chooses happiness. They choose it for themselves. They choose it with each other. Hopefully, each character says, what would be in my greatest interest? Is pulling my energy back and insisting that a painful ending is something I need to keep brewing on? Is that a good idea? Is that me loving myself? Probably not. Or for him, is holding back and not telling somebody that I think they're wonderful because I'm worried about getting rejected. Is that me loving myself? Is that me advocating for my own best outcome? Probably not. So ideally, if these two characters start thinking about what do I do to show that I love myself? I go after the best stuff for me. That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully that's the route that these two characters choose to take. There's a lot of little angel feathers and angel wings around here. The sun is on this chalice. The moon is up above. We've got a blooming lotus flower. So we have like a celestial perfect alignment, which this is kind of timely because right now, of course, we're right in Leo season, so strong sun energy. We also are, you know, in this time frame of Mercury retrograde, which gives us a second chance to think about things, think about our behaviors and maybe change our behaviors. And this also gives us the inspiration, perhaps, of the alignment for the Lion's Gate. So, you know, we have the Sirius, the dog star, in alignment and rising, and that has much to do with fertility and the flooding of the Nile River in ancient times. And so this is a great time, perhaps, to think about, you know, blossoming. That is if they choose to, because this card came out sideways. It's very much up to them, but I love the fact that there's so much happy potential here. It's just if these characters choose to move in one another's direction, choose to unblock themselves, because they could have it all, is what this says. This could be a real love match. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Lots of love. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Let me know if you like this little doggy setup. We might do this from time to time. Bye.